All right, buddy.
All right, we are live.
We're going live. I'm waiting for Instagram to wake up here.
I was gonna say, are we there yet?
There it is. We are live on Instagram.
Beautiful. We are live. Hey,
We're live on
everybody.
Instagram. We're live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook.
Live on the big three, as they say. The big three.
Nice to see everybody here this
Ooh,
evening.
I left my beer upstairs.
Well, we're gonna have to go, but we got something to do first.
Yeah, we got to do something first. I guess we'll just roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah, let's do it.
That beautiful intro footage. And here we go. So, by the way, two things I've failed to mention entirely is, for one, bank flipping that fish from as far out as I did was absolutely insane. That fish was like 4.5 pounds. But also,
what's up, Dave?
I can't believe I've never thought to post that on Instagram. Like, I was like, dude, I'm so tired of just making like crappy text posts. Like, oh, yeah, like
dude,
that.
the amount of content that we actually have is kind of insane.
The content and
I've at least got 4 terabytes worth of it.
Well, the amount of production,
I'm deleting it.
The amount of production that we do, like, it's a full-time job in itself. Like I said.
Real quick, I hope everybody's reading the little ticker tape down at the bottom there. Little thing going on there. If you can guess what 2 baits were used to catch the 2 fish in the YouTube thumbnail, and post it in the comments here. Well, you might win $25.
Are the baits the same?
No, they're not the same. It's 2 different baits.
Okay.
The bait that I caught my fish on is right in the freaking picture. Yours is not. Yours is a guess.
What if we do?
Mine is an identify.
What if we make it even like more fun, right? Like, what if it's like, if you can't guess the baits, at least like think of a funny caption. Nah, too complicated.
Nope, gotta guess the baits.
And you guys aren't that funny anyway. No offense. You don't make me laugh.
Oh man, I got a hole.
Yeah, that's like every Dark Horse Tackle shirt you own.
It's getting there.
Oh no, my hydration mix is settling on
my old ones anyway. So what are we getting into tonight, bub?
Well, it's December, everything's frozen, and it sucks. So, you know, for those of you who are on here,
is it still frozen for you?
I think by tomorrow we'll be good, but tomorrow it's going to dip back down to 36 and then like 18 at night, and then it's going to go back up. So hopefully it's just like one day, right? Like I hope it's just one day of cold weather. If it's not too windy, that would be, you know, fantastic, because I do, you know, we like to fish. That's what we do here.
I don't know. Did you win what, buddy? Did I miss a comment?
Yeah. What would you have won, JCon 88?
Anywho, yeah. Hey, by the way, while you guys are looking at the thumbnail on YouTube, it'd be cool if you click the like button. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, Expo Prep Stone Man. Expo Prep Pete. We got it coming. It's time.
We got 2 more lives before our first Expo, so that's gonna be
our next live, Josh, would tentatively be Christmas Eve. Are we doing that?
I say I don't like that idea.
We gonna go early?
Maybe.
Go on Monday, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Monday.
Maybe. We'll have to think about it.
Yeah, we could just do what the Catch podcast does. You know,
And just not do it?
Not even talk about it.
I don't know. What's up, Mr. Andrew Hayes? How are you,
Did anybody listen to the new episode of the Catch podcast? Because if you haven't, I suggest you do.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, every now and then you're faced with a situation where you have to take matters into your own hands. So you make a bunch of stuff up to get the people going and convince them that you firmly believe all of the garbage that's coming out of your mouth.
And it was good.
Yes.
Do you have something up where you're watching the comments from Instagram?
I do. All
right, I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna do this so I can have a better screen here. You watch the comments from Instagram. I'll watch the others. Okay, deal?
Sounds good to me.
I like it. So, anyways, in case anybody didn't know,
did you know
we got these went out today? Dropped them off at the old post office myself. Did you know my postman's name is also Josh? He crochets though.
That's a hobby. No comment.
It is. He crochets. He does a good job, man. But yeah, we've got Dark Horse Tackles Aggressively Average Christmas hit the post office today. Some of you will have them as soon as tomorrow. Lots of good stuff in here, but we are going to not talk about what's inside.
We're not going to talk about what's in the box.
I want to.
Here's the deal. This is a pretty freaking cool box. It was a pretty big deal for us. The Aggressively Average Anglers are talking about it a lot. This has been talked about for over a month and a half. If you missed out on the box, you missed out on the box. Supplies
Luckily,
are very limited.
There's still some left. Not many at all. Like
there is a handful.
We are well below 20 left.
Yeah. I would say a handful. There you go, Eli. You're on your way. Now you have to guess the other bait. But you can't just sit here and guess in the comments all night. I'm not going to allow that.
It's got to be both baits in one comment.
Yeah. Just there's one if you want to guess the others. Well, Eli, I suggest you guess. Take a swing. Take a swing at the ball.
Take a swing at the ball.
Take a swing at the ball.
Pretty soon, we're going to have our special guest on tonight.
That is Scott from BASSDOPE Lures.
Yeah, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, some of the most insane packaging you'll ever see in your life. If you're
the dude is it. He missed his calling, man. He should have been in the graphic arts. Oh, he absolutely should have been. At least in storyboarding or something like that, because he's got ideas, man.
Yeah.
A creative fella.
Oh, I would say it's heavily creative. I can go back into my bins and grab one of these. You're not gonna be able to see it anyway. The camera's not gonna focus. It's not gonna work. You don't wait. What is
folks are talking about reels? We're not paying attention. We're not doing a very good job.
You're not doing what you said you were going to do.
I'm gonna do it now. Canada Post on strike.
Yes, we know
during
that.
Christmas. For real?
Yep.
Wait.
That's why Pirate Ship always says, like, for international orders, like, we're not shipping to Canada right now.
Is Canada Christmas same as United States Christmas?
That's a good question. I don't really know.
Will they be the same if they're annexed?
Oh, Andrew. I've caught some fish on that 3-arm baby A-rig also.
Have you?
I have.
That's crazy, buddy.
I have. Some would say.
Did you ever catch any and then take a photo with the fish with a derpy face?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I did.
Gotcha.
I did. Some would say it's made it to a couple of thumbnails. Some would say. Nice. Nice. There's that Apple AI I've been working tirelessly over.
Yeah,
Thanks.
tirelessly.
Thanks, Apple, for giving me a thumbs up at the end of my day.
Ryan, you did. I did it. That was fun, man.
Oh, dude,
you're actually in the video. You're
It's
in the.
one of
You're
my-
in the. You can hear your voice in the video. You go. Is that on the A rig? Let's go.
one of my favorite
exciting.
bites is an A-rig bite because they eat it a lot differently compared to the same size swim bait.
It felt to me. It felt. It
more
to
anger.
me, it felt like they ate it. They eat it the same way they eat like a chatterbait.
There's more anger.
Like they're just no. I don't know, man. Maybe I got a different bite, but for me, I was just, and then it was on. Like it was just you're fishing, and then it's on.
All right, Eli Self gets a $25 gift card to Dark Horse Tackles website.
No way. He won one last time.
Well, he guessed it.
Well, what are we gonna do now?
Nobody else give him a $25 gift card. Nobody else wants to play. If nobody else wants to play, you can't get a grand slam if you don't want to pick up the baseball bat, buddy.
Well, you know what? But let's go ahead and bring on Scott.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it, buddy. Click the button.
Oh,
you're the button clicker.
All right. Scott from BASSDOPE, how are you?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, you know.
All right.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
We're living the dream.
I could not believe when you sent me that video that you started. So Scott sent me a video of the creation of one of the baby A-rigs. And he started with a roll of wire in his hand. And I was, first of all, I was amazed and impressed, man. That's what made you decide that you wanted to do such a thing?
I like A-rigs, and I wanted to do something a little different, and it was pretty important to have the right wire, because a lot of A-rigs are really, really stiff, and or very kind of rubbery, like not a wire. And if you get the wire just right and you pump it on retrieve, you get this really awesome fleeing bait fish action on it.
Yeah, it like breathes.
It does, yeah. And if you get really good at it and you get a feel for it, you can entice a bite with those A-rigs that others can't. That's the way I feel like, and that's why we built it that way. So to answer your question, that's the place. That's how I found that wire. So the wire is super important. It comes in coils, and I have to hand make and cut every single one of them.
Now do you have to run it through? I didn't notice if you. I don't think you did. Did you run it through a straightener, or do you just kind of?
Yeah, I just do it by hand.
Man, I bet you your thumbs are tough, buddy.
They're getting there, man.
Well, you play. Don't you play guitar or something too?
Yeah, I play guitar.
Yeah, so you can't feel your thumbs anyways.
Right.
So it's similar to those fluorocarbon style, those 100-pound fluorocarbon style A-rigs without the fluorocarbon style A-rig price, fortunately.
Yeah,
because those suckers are expensive. Like every A-rig, man, is not going to be cheap. There's obviously some A-rigs you can buy from Temu or Amazon, something like that. I would prefer my products come from adults, being made by adults.
The hands of adults, anyways.
The hands of adults. Yeah, at least the instructions. Well, he's 6 years old.
I don't know if I'm an adult, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. I want the hands to be over 18, regardless of the mindset.
There you go.
But yeah, this is the animal. right here.
Yeah.
2.
Gorgeous.
It's an isosceles triangle, if you will. You've got 2 longer arms here, and you've got a shorter arm right here.
Upgraded hardware on that thing too, man. You got the what do they call those? Those
Barrel swivels?
Yeah,
Barrel swivels?
yeah. Anything that holds on those A rigs, anything that is what I would consider like load bearing is all
Right.
premium stuff. These things are tested on hybrid stripers in our area, just to give you an idea. I mean, that's what they were made for, because they figured that if they could withstand the fight of a hybrid striper, and some people might not know what that is, but if they could withstand the fight of a hybrid striper, they can withstand anything that a bass can do.
That's all they do. All those stripers do is bulldog. They just bulldog,
and they never ever stop fighting.
Nope.
No.
Even when you flip them in the boat, they never stop.
No, and they're heavy.
Cut your
like
hands open.
They've got that weird like weight of a catfish, like where it's just like bah, but like the whole time,
yeah,
it's just a dog, and then sometimes they jump, which is even scarier because a lot of times you're catching those fish on treble hook baits, like
oh god,
in the area. You can catch hybrids on like a ball head jig and a little swimmer, but like, what's the fun in that? I want to watch one blow up on a 3-hooked walking bait.
right?
And that's like a big deal here. Like we've got a bait in our store called a Cornerstone Big Swift, and it's a 3-hook treble walking style bait, but like the 2 back hooks are like maybe this far apart from each other. And I can only imagine like how nerve-wracking it would be just to unhook one of those freaks.
Oh god. I know, like you have to pin them down on the boat.
Yeah, you got to get the fish bat out
and try to work it out. Yeah, they're insane. But one thing, I don't know if I know you guys have used the baby A rig a little bit now.
Oh yeah.
So with the wire the way it is, this is totally supposed to be this way. You catch a big fish, or you catch a couple big fish in a row, it's meant for you to readjust it. I mean, these wires are gonna move.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
Just the way.
However, they will not get destroyed.
They won't.
I have fished smaller A rigs before, and I catch a smallmouth, and it's over.
Well,
actually, I caught an 8-pound striper on a smaller A rig once. I just got another one out because there was no way I was gonna fix it, man. You said your area. Where are you from?
Just in suburbs of Chicago.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really, you guys are in Ohio, right?
I'm in Ohio.
I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, but I mean, we're all around the same, northern.
We're fishing the same boring crap.
Yeah, but we have to deal with the same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get lake effect as bad as like Chicago would, and neither does Zach. Just because I'm in Columbus, like that lake.
No, you get Columbus effect.
Yeah, I get Columbus effect, which is a radiant dome that is 10 degrees cooler inside the city, or 10 degrees warmer inside the city at all times, and then you go 10 minutes out of the city, and it's like literally like where I like to fish. I guarantee you, like, it's 45 outside right now. I'll bet it's 32 degrees.
I've rarely been out to Columbus, and it's nice. It's either really freaking cold or really freaking hot or really freaking windy.
Yeah.
It's one of the three. It's never just nice.
Yeah. So one thing I like about this, like you said, you can bend it, not break it. And the construction, the little piece of tubing here and the way that these wires come together, it allows for that bend, not break. But one thing I really like doing to slow down or speed up the process, just like I do with any spinnerbait, is I'll either tighten up this if I want to keep it closer to the bottom, or work it, just work it a little bit lower to the bottom, or I'll open it up. And when you open it up, my favorite way to fish it's all the way open, just because you have the option to do both. But I have this thing, man. I don't fish slow ever. Like the way I fish is I'm more of a water column fisherman. So I'm fishing a steady pace at all times, either the top, middle, or bottom. And that's one thing I like about this. Like Zach and I went out and tested this thing out. Like, oh God, we had been using these things for a minute, but there was a day where we really got in. Well, I did. I don't know if Zach did. I don't know how locked in he was on it, but we've both had our day with this bait, and
I've spent like probably 3 full days on the river throwing nothing but that.
Dude, it was a day in November. It was a day in November, and I was working this thing like the first 6 inches of the water column close to the bank, and I mean, they were crushing it. Like, they did not want this thing to go away. They did not want it to leave their sight. They had to eat it, and they were just flat out attacking it. And Eli guessed it right, so I guess I could play the bite. Like, dude, I had this thing probably like this high in the water column, and the fish actually like boiled on top of it, and it was like the beginning of November. And those are just like, it's days like that where like A, the fish are just that fired up, and B, it's still nice to see that they're that fired up that something can generate that kind of reaction when like it was cold, dude. It was like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
And they're eating it like that.
Yeah, I have a real hard time fishing slow myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't.
Do you find you get what retrieve do you find gives you the best bites on that, Scott?
A slow, steady grind, you know?
Yeah.
You could burn it a little bit, but that kind of, once you find, I don't know how to describe it actually, but you kind of know when you get it there because all of a sudden the bites start.
The fish will tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Like that's.
But it is a little slower. I've been using, everybody has a different bait they like to use. When the cold water starts, I'll throw on these little Salmos. I mean, I know there's a million of them, and it doesn't really matter what you use, but I like these because if you look at this tail, how flimsy it is, it's really thin. In the cold water, they kick really good.
Yep.
They
look like they kick tight too and not super wide.
Exactly. They're like a shimmy. Yeah,
and that's what I like too. Like if I'm doing an A rig, I don't want to throw a boot tail because it's just going to slow down. It's going to drag more. I want the blades to move. I want the blades to be kicking. I want everything to kick. And that's why I throw, like, we paired it up with a Bitter's Little Swimmer. That's my personal choice. One of my favorite ways to reel this thing is like if I'm fishing hard bottom, like if I pull up to like just like a slowly contouring bank that's like chunk rock or like some kind of rip wrap that involves mainly rock, like I'm not fishing wood with this thing. Okay. Like out of the, like, you get it. So I will throw this thing out, let it hit bottom, and then I'll slowly reel it. And like anytime I tick something or make contact, I kind of just pop my rod tip, not an aggressive pop, just a flick to kind of like, I don't know, man. I feel like, everybody wants to, the beautiful thing about fishing is like, it allows for delusion and imagination, So I like to think that my A-rig is down there, they're swimming and they run into a rock and they go, shoot, we hit a rock. And then they kind of, and then the fish are behind them like, look at those stupid idiots. I'm going to eat them. And like, that's how I like to be delusional when I fish. But I love the pumping idea, like the kind of the yo-yo. The yo-yo bite that's a crazy bite too, because they eat it so aggressively. Like when they hit that thing on the fall, man, it's next level.
I think we're doing pretty much the same thing. Like I like to feel a little bit of the bottom, or feel the bottom and then reel it up a little bit, so I know that I'm just above the bottom. If I hit something, I'll pull it away from it or reel it a tiny bit faster, but I'll pretty much keep it steady and then just do a real quick reel.
Yep.
Just so it, like, there's something following it. I'm imagining something's following it, and boom, they're trying to get away. And on that real quick pump is right after that is usually where it gets hammered.
Yep. That's one thing that Zach and I have always talked about. Like, it's not necessarily the bait. It's how you're fishing the bait. It's the cadence of what you're fishing. You know, I can go out and catch, like if I really wanted to, I could Texas rig a Senko weightless, throw it, make a bomb cast with it, and just reel it on top of the water. If the fish are feeling that, they'll eat it. Yep. But, you know, the cadence is important. And like, this is one of those baits, like it's scary, dude. People are scared of this thing. And it's only got wires and it's still scaring people. But this is one of those baits, like where you throw that out and you find that cadence and like, let's just say you're slow rolling it off the bottom and giving it enough lift to keep it off the bottom and grabbing weeds or whatever it may be grabbing, but it's getting bit. Just do that all day.
Yep.
And you will find fish. Like this is a very effective fish finder. People are just scared to find fish with it because they're like, that big old thing. So like, I mean, that was our main reason for like putting something like this in the box, because I mean, it was affordable for us. It's affordable for our customer if they want to buy it. That's important, you know, to the box process, and that's important to the online store process. But when it comes to something like this, you know, it's priced very well. This thing is under $15, and you don't find that very often with A-rigs that are made by small businesses or A-rigs in general, but especially in the small business market. But it's just a 3-wire, and it allows you the opportunity. Like, I just want people to see this as one or two things. You either see it as an inline spinnerbait with a trailer on it, or you see it as a ball head jig swim bait. Just multiply it times 3.
Yep. I like the idea of it being a swim bait, like a ball head swim bait, because I hear people saying fish it like a spinner bait. But like you said earlier, man, this is not the best bait for throwing into wood.
No. No.
It's not. So
too many hooks.
Yeah. So don't fish it like a spinner bait.
Don't like.
But
fish it
you
like
can
fish
still
it like an A-rig.
Bank with it. You know, if you're not throwing it into laydowns, you could throw it next to laydowns.
Yes, in front of laydowns. Like bass utilize the entire, like, I learned something. So I met Denny Brower when I was like 13 years old. And, you know, just in an attempt to like impress him, I had just started flipping and pitching. And I was like, oh, I love flipping wood, Denny. Denny, I love flipping wood. Hey, Denny. And he's like, how much of the wood do you flip? Like when you pull up to a laydown, how much do you flip? And I'm like, oh, I just go to where the wood meets the water. And he's like, don't do that. Like, if you're going to spend time flipping a laydown, work the entirety of the laydown. Start in front of the laydown and work your way back on either side. And with an A-rig, you can take it as close as you can get to a laydown. Because I've caught fish on different A-rigs because, you know, I didn't know who you were, unfortunately, Scott. Yeah. But I've thrown them like in front of beaver dams or in front of like beaver huts. Like that's one of my favorite spots because we are northern. We have beavers.
Yeah.
There's a spot on my home lake. There's a huge beaver laydown. And basically like the first 5 feet of in front of that, they'll sit there. But it's like the middle of a cove and nobody really knows where it's at until the water goes down real
Is it just because it's cover? Is that why there are always bass on beaver dams? Because there are always bass on beaver dams.
Big cover.
Always.
It's a big habitat. Like things are.
I didn't know if maybe there was like other stuff drawn to it.
It might be. It might be. There might be a lot of like minnows there eating some stuff that's coming off the beaver hut or
beaver
something.
dung.
Beaver dung.
Well, there's a name. There's a name for that. There's the it's strawberry and vanilla flavored was what we use it for. There's a name for that stuff. It's a secretion from their anal gland.
Right.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I stopped paying attention for 2 seconds and I'm in a completely different conversation.
Castor oil. Castor oil is what it's called. That's what it is.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's where that comes from?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It does come from beavers.
My wife has been trying to put that on my. I got something going out my foot, like a plantar fasciitis thing, and she's like, "We got to put the castor oil on it. It'll feel better."
See, you should have just kicked the beaver's ass.
Wow.
Put your foot up a beaver's ass.
Come on.
No. honestly, no, like if it says natural flavoring and it's like strawberry or vanilla flavored, 9 times out of 10 that's coming from a beaver's rear end.
Well,
Okay.
thanks, man. This has been lovely.
The more you know.
The more you know.
The more I don't want to know.
Right?
That's where I'm at right now. No, but I mean, for anybody who doesn't know who BASSDOPE is, who isn't subscribed to the box, check him out. We've got 2 of his products online, and that's just the start of it. I mean,
yeah, we've got the Smack swim heads to go along with the mini A rig. Now, you also offer a baby 5 wire, correct?
Yeah.
Because you got options on there.
Yep.
And you'll add spinner blades or spots for hooks depending on what the folks want. And right there on your site, you've got kind of a list of what people are allowed to have.
Yeah, I tried to make it easy because not everybody is dialed in. So I mean, there's people here in Illinois. Like we've got the most complicated rules around A rigs.
It's basically by body of water out there, isn't it?
Pretty much. You could generalize it a little bit, but it says it's illegal. But what they say is illegal with a couple exceptions. Okay, Lake Michigan, some of our rivers, Army Corps of Engineer lakes, no limitations there. But all these other lakes that have a 2-pole limit, you can only have 2 hooks. But they don't come right out and say, like this is a 5-wire A rig, right? But it only has 2 hooks on it. According to Illinois, if it has the A rig is 5 wires with 5 hooks.
Really?
We'll get really confused because they think that A rigs are just illegal on 2-pole lakes. They don't realize that you can run 5 wires as long as you only have 2 hooks.
So when I did we did a whole page on our pamphlet dedicated to what states, how many hooks, yada yada yada. When we put that box out, and obviously I looked at your site, but I went and did my own research because, well, we're putting it out there. We want to make sure we're giving people the best advice.
It's kind of our ass.
Yeah, and I probably read 30 different states. I read through to try to make sure I understood it. And oh my God, the A-rig laws or how many hook laws are written very much the same as the laws that tell you how big of a knife you're allowed to carry.
Right.
It's so convoluted that basically, unless you really read it and understand it, the game warden has has the edge there because you don't know what the hell you're talking about because it's so hard to understand. Like it's like this weird word equation. You have to pull a little bit from this part of their laws and a little bit from this part of their laws and a little bit from this part of their laws. Like you can have 2 hooks, but what is a hook?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that brings me to another point. I remember when the A-rig started getting popularized. It was a bigger shock than your, live scope and stuff like that because people are like, "Oh, this is cheating. This is illegal.
Yeah.
This is illegal." And it's like, what do you mean? It's an effective way to catch schooling fish. It's an effective way to generate a bite. It's an effective way to generate schooling fish to bite. Is this not just another tool?
Yeah.
But then, Yum and Strike King and other companies started to make it. So Bass was like, wait a minute, the people paying us are making these. We don't want to tell them no at all. So
yeah, there's definitely some negativity around A-rigs.
Oh, dude, I will have when these things, I remember local company here called Venom, rest in peace. They had their own version of an A-rig. Thank you, Zach. Very respectful. They had their own version of an A-rig. And I remember when they first came out with it, it was probably 2007, 2008. And I was throwing it on a catfish rod because I was like, well, this has a lot of bow to it, and like also it's not like I'm losing a rod to try and figure this thing out. And I remember like, dude, I'm fishing a tournament and like guys like, yeah, no. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, these are illegal. And I'm like, how? And he's like, well, it's cheating. And I'm like, how? And he's like, just can't do it. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like,
the answer is because you're doing better than they are.
but I didn't know what I was doing with it. Like, I didn't catch a fish on an A-rig for like 6 years, dude. I didn't catch my first A-rig fish forever. Like, it was a grind, man.
Yeah,
and
I don't understand. People think that it's like just raking the water or using a net to.
Like, I'm not snagging them.
No, I've never once snagged a fish on an egg rig.
No,
me either. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, if the fish are fired up and they're after schooling fish, and they're just at that amped level, you could catch 2 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You could. But the thing is if they're not at that level, you have this giant piece of metal going through the water. It's going to scare more away than you catch.
Yeah.
I mean, but it is definitely effective at drawing their attention, but it's not a guarantee that you're going to catch fish. Nothing really is. And I guess my point is I don't know how really, as I sit here, how an A-rig, and after fishing it for so long, how if it's not the right bait that day, nothing's going to make it the right bait that day.
I was kind of force feeding it the first time I took it out and like locked it into my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Your RIP A-rig specifically. And I actually caught my first bass casting it up under there's this big chute that comes out, and I was casting it up under there into a space, I don't know, maybe about 15 foot wide where there's an outflow.
Yep.
And I must have casted it like 3-4 times, and on the 4th time he come up right as I was about to yank it out of the water. He come up and waylaid it. So like, I don't think that was your typical way to fish that thing, but it worked.
Hey, a follow is a follow, man. I'll take that any day. Like, a lot of times it's hard because, like, dude, I'll never forget. Like, I had a buddy. He owned a wire bait company. He sent me a 3 hook because he asked what Ohio was about. Sent me a 3 hook. So I went out and tested it, and I'm throwing this thing, trying to get used to the 3-arm. I've never thrown a 3-arm before. Trying to get used to the 3-arm. And like, that's exactly what happened to me, Zach. Like, I'm sitting there and it's like the last 4 feet of water. Here they come.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, dude, like the bank that I was standing on was like, when like geese just muddy up the water and it's like that black brown, that like literally the first 5 feet in front of me was that black brown color because they all kept coming up and scooting off. And I'm like, dude, like, what can I do? So like I made this cast and I just kept my rod tip like up and I was just like crawling and like pulling this thing. Like I'm letting the rod hit my chin. And then it was like, boom. And I'm like, cool. Reeling this thing in, boom. And I had 3 fish on this thing at the same time. I probably had 9 pounds of bass on at the same time. They all got off except for one, which, hey, a fish is a fish. But like, dude, like I was sitting there and I'm like, oh my God. Like they're all going different directions and they're just going like this. Like,
nothing can prepare you for that.
No, you just
when something like that's happening, you just hold on.
Yeah, I'm just hoping
like
for one.
2. Like I've caught a few times. I've caught 2 bass on a single treble hooked lure.
Yeah,
and like 2 10-ounce bass will feel like a 5-pounder.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
like
in the you don't even know what's going on
in the creeks and rivers that we fish. I was throwing that Robusto Evoke 2.0. That the what do we call that one?
Hunchback.
The Hunchback. Yeah, I was throwing that Hunchback. And I pulled in on a fish and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this thing, like, dude, I'm like, this fish can't make up its mind. It's going left, it's going right, it's going up, it's going down. And I got to the point where I was like, I don't care if I lose this fish. I just need to know what it is. So I just lifted my rod tip up. Yeah, there we go.
No, I think that's dark
That's a
corners,
dark corner.
but that's a 3, right?
2.5.
2.5.
I lift my rod tip up and it's literally like Zach said, it's like 2 10-ounce smallmouths just going opposite directions. Like it felt like I was reeling in a branch that could swim. And I'm just like, why is this thing like doing this? Like it's just pulling me, it's going up, it's going down. I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, oh, I've got a double. And then one of them pulled off because, I mean, dude, they're tiny little fish. They probably yanked their own face off, unfortunately. But yeah, it's weird. It's a weird feeling to hook 2 fish.
I had a streak going. It was last year in the fall. We've got this one place. It's a plant, like a nuclear power plant lake.
Nice.
Cooling lake. But they close it. You know, they don't keep it open all year. So they close it right before waterfowl season. They let the hunters get out there and do their thing for their season without.
What's waterfowl? Oh, waterfowl. Okay, never mind.
The ducks and all that.
I was like, waterfall season.
All start to come out, man.
What is this?
And so we get out there and go for these hybrid stripers, and that's when a lot of work gets done on these A-rigs. And we get 2 hooks. That's it. Well, I had a streak going last year where I had in like a 6-day period, because I basically, when there's 10 days left, I go out there almost every day. In 6 days, I caught 16 doubles.
Good God.
Holy cow.
And we're talking like 8 and 9 pounders each.
Jeez.
And so I'm fishing with a 710 heavy and a 710 extra heavy with the full-size Rip A-rig. Usually a 7-wire. So I usually will use a 7-wire with just 2 baits on it, and all blades everywhere, and slow roll these things. And it's just, they will take that 710 heavy and bend that thing in half. And then when you catch 2 of them, like Josh was saying, there's nothing in life that can prepare you for that. You don't know what to do. You know, when you catch one fish, you're like, okay, this fish is going this way. I'm going to go this way. He's going to jump. He's pulling drag, whatever it is. When there's 2 of them and they're pulling in opposite directions and they're setting the hook on each other because there's nothing you can do, it's just nuts.
It's weird.
It's total chaos.
It's
So,
weird.
Josh, I don't know if you picked up on this, but we just heard from the maker of the Rip A-rig. That is what it's called, Rip. We were going back and forth. We didn't know if it was Rip or RIP.
It's Rip, but it's rest in peace because it's a killer.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's why I thought it was RIP. No, I would back when there was only 5 blades, I remember like I had a stash of these little blades and I had a stash of really big willow blades just because like, dude, I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I could only use 3 hooks. Like I would just grab jig heads and go buy like, dude, I'd be throwing this thing with like curly tailed grubs and like swimming Senkos and like, you know, like just anything, man, like anything that moved, dude. I was throwing this thing on it. Like, and I remember like I had a bunch of these Venom ones because like I used to know the owner because like you work closely with my dad because I'm an industry baby, Scott. My dad manages a tackle shop at a boat dealership. So I got to meet all these guys, but like I put these huge willow blades on the back because I kept having the problem of it sinking down.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, they make something other than a 1/2-ounce jig head. They make these in other sizes too. So like, dude, I'm throwing like 4 ounces of gear. Like I'm it's on like a catfish run, right? And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, who is catching fish on this? Like, you know, like my hands are bleeding because I'm really in so fast. Like, I'm
That's
just like,
hilarious.
this is torture. Like,
Yeah, talking about the weight, though, it's actually very interesting. Ryan Van Tine and myself were out on the river fishing.
Yeah.
Both of us were fishing the Rip A-rig, and I had 3/16 heads on, and he had 8 heads on, and he actually got more misses and actually hooked up more than I did. And I think that's because he was actually rolling it slower to keep it down, whereas I was like cooking it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting.
You know, there were a lot, I don't know how many do it anymore, but for a while there, a lot of A-rig or umbrella rig makers would have weighted heads, you know, like the head would be weighted.
Yep.
Or it'd be lead.
That was my issue.
Right.
3/4 ounce.
That was a big thing for me, is to make this thing basically no weight on it. You just have natural weight of the blades and the wires, but there's no weight on it, so that you can make those adjustments. You can easily change the swim bait head and slow it down or speed it up or get it deeper, and you'll know that it'll always keel properly.
I feel like it makes more sense for the bait to fall like this way and not this way. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Head first, you can't really get that thing out of a jam. If you get that thing locked in head first, you got one of those freaking head scratchers you get at Cracker Barrel that looks like an octopus wedged into a rock, and you can't really get it. I've snagged this in wood plenty of times. I have not lost one yet. Fortunately, I have not lost one yet. Right. I've beaten the crap out of one. Because I mean, dude, like we went to the river with this thing, and I mean, we just every single bait that we used, dude, had freaking marks on it, just because like it was low, it was Snag City, but we had to move quick and we had to bang rocks. But yeah, like this, dude, I don't know. The second I saw this thing, I got really excited. Then when I held it in person, I got even more excited. I mean, just from like, I've got a lot of guys, for those who don't know and aren't familiar too much with A-rigs, a lot of guys here on this blade part, they'll use plastic tubing, or they won't like rivet this properly, or they use too big of a rivet. There's a lot of attention to detail that goes into this. Like this little piece right here is clamped down 3 times, followed by a ball bearing, followed by your C-clamp, swivel. Obviously, that's how you hang a spinner blade. But these ball bearings didn't need to be here, but they are there because it allows for a better running product. This rivet didn't need to be here. You could have cheapened it up that way. And this is still what, $12.99?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's still $12.99. Like
how much is your 5-wire?
The most expensive of the 5-wire, I think they're like $24.95, somewhere around there.
For the baby?
Oh, no, not the baby. The baby, I think, is like,
because you do make a baby 5, right?
Yeah, baby 5 is like 18 or 19.
One of the reasons why we were so like excited about this is because a lot of folks that order the box are, I'm not going to say they're necessarily new to fishing, but they're definitely looking to try new things.
Yep.
And we want to be able to give people something that they can throw without going out and buying a $300 rod and reel combo.
Get up, set up.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And this baby A-rig, I mean, what am I throwing it on? I'm throwing it on a medium
7 foot mag heavy. That's your they call it a mag heavy, but it's ironic because like it's a heavy moderate. It's not. When I hear the word mag heavy, I'm thinking like the stiffest broomstick.
No, but it's not. It's different.
It's very Bowie.
Basically, if you got, I mean, I don't particularly like it on my frog rod, but that is definitely way more than enough.
Oh yeah,
a medium heavy is all you need.
I throw the babies typically on the length. You can adjust the length, but me personally, I throw it on a 7.6 medium heavy, moderate fast.
I like that extra 6 inches, and the reason why is because you think that because you have like, all right, you've got, let's say you got 3/16 heads on there, so you've got 3/16 heads on there plus the weight of the rig itself. Like that's a lot. You're thinking that's gonna fly, not really. Like they're not super aerodynamic, so having that extra 6 inches will let you get it out there a little bit further. Which the more I fish, and a lot of what I fish ends up being pretty pressured. The further I can get it away from me, the better.
Yep.
Right.
100%.
Eli just made a really good point that this is a great introduction into any kind of like wire rig fishing, Alabama rig, whatever you want to call it. And I agree. Like, and it's so simple, right? Like you're spending again $12.99. Like it's not too much of a commitment, man. Like that's cheaper than those Mega Bass 110s that people love bragging about owning. Like it's also not going to break when you hit a rock. So
right.
Like,
I mean, honestly, that's about the same price as a
spinnerbait,
a decent spinnerbait, buzz bait, or anything else you go into the store and buy nowadays.
Right.
I mean, as long as it's a decent one.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to get away with that comment about the extra 6 inches, and then you brought it up like 3 times.
No.
But
man, I'm missing something.
Now I
want to
look. You're not getting the all right. No, I throw mine on I've got a 7.4 medium heavy.
Yeah. That
is like a heavy spinnerbait rod that I like to use. I use that rod for pretty much anything. One thing about me, Scott, and I don't know if it drives Zach crazy. Every combo
I'm
that
sure
I have,
it does.
Every combo that I have, except for like 2, I can throw everything on. Like if I just want to, you know, it's I'm you know, I just grab and go 9 times out of 10. So, you know, I fish out of a backpack. I don't use tackle boxes. I have a bag full of jig heads. And then I'll keep crankbaits in the plastic case that they came in and throw those in my backpack. And like, I mean, it's a mess. But it's my mess and it works. I've thrown it on a 7.3 medium heavy. I've thrown it on a 7.3 heavy. Like I've thrown this thing on 3 to 4 separate rigs. I think it's a little too light for like my actual like big bait rod. I don't like, I could get it out with an 8-foot extra heavy, but the feel would be a little weird.
Yeah, that would be really weird. A 7.4 heavy though, like your frog rod, could be kind of cool. I think with this, depending on where you're at with the weights, if you're putting 3/16 jig heads on, I think that 7.4 heavy is going to be cool. And also, when you catch a fish, you're going to feel a great, you know, a tire fight.
Right.
That's the thing. Like I see guys all the time where they grab like an ugly stick and they start shaking it like this, and the thing goes like this, like a noodle, and they're like, "Wow, look at how sensitive that thing is." Like literally the opposite. So
yeah. You're at that point. You're just feeling for weight. You're not feeling for a bite.
Yeah. So if when you have an A-rig like this, or even the full size one, if you do run it on a heavy where it's a little bit of a stiffer rod, when you catch that fish, you feel a lot of that fight. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's definitely cool with the hybrids, right? Going to be cool with smallies, but you don't need that. That's the point, and that's what's great about this lure is you can run it if you have a 7-foot medium heavy fast jig rod, and that's what you have. You could run this on that.
Yeah, we were very, very excited to do this. It was a little scary because this was the very first Dark Horse tackle box that did not come with a hard bait. I don't know if we kind of pigeonholed ourselves or what, but we ended up under this mindset that there always has to be a hard bait in the box. And I got to tell you, Scott, the reception of this box and that A-rig was freaking fantastic, dude.
Awesome.
I got no fear now.
No,
they might never get a hard bait again.
No, I like it paired up too perfectly, you know, swim bait heads, the bait, the rig itself, and then having the ability to put my favorite bait into a box. And that's really all that matters to me, is that I got my time to go, hey, again, for $4, this is the greatest bait ever made.
Oh, yeah, your little swimmer. Man,
yeah.
Good Lord.
Just throw it and shut up.
So, Scott, we're getting near our Betty by time. If you want, go ahead, take some time, let the folks know about BASSDOPE lures. If you want to talk about what you got on your site, I mean, have at it, man.
Hey, you know what? BASSDOPE, let's just put it this way. I hand make everything on the site. We've got a ton of custom designs. I don't put any color combo up there, any lure up there that I haven't personally caught awesome fish with. We live and fish rivers constantly, so I would consider myself a river fisherman. And there's nothing that beats up your lures more than river fishing. And in the rivers around here, we have a lot of rock. We have a lot of junk and crap and weeds. So we have a little bit of everything, but you always have that current that's playing into the scenario. And
yeah, pushing. If you thought you were keeping it out, it's pushing it in.
Right.
Yeah.
And so keeping these baits out of snags is really important. I'm always playing around and innovating. Like this was something that came to me in a dream.
Oh, I love that.
So it's a cross between an A-ring and a buzz bait, but you could catch 2 topwater fish at, so that's my goal. And I ran this thing on the pond. All the bass were like lethargic at this point. They're not going after topwater, but this thing runs true. I cannot wait.
I'll catch a fish on it. I'll catch a fish on it.
We might need to talk to you in June.
Yeah,
June is our traditionally is our all top water box. So everything that comes in the June box is all top water. So we'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah, I mean, well, the only thing that has to happen is between now and then I've got to prove it out, because it doesn't go out the door if it's not proven out.
Dude,
so
hit me up around April. I'll prove it out.
God. Oh my God. I got a guy on here that I can geek out with a little bit. Dude. Look at these.
Here we go.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got these. Okay. They're called Toit, T-O-I-T, split ring pliers.
Oh,
Dude,
I saw those.
Dude, they're amazing.
Really?
Oh my God. So do you see the conical shape?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
It's so out of the way of everything compared to any other shape. Because this part is always like in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's usually like squarish or something like that.
Yep.
And it's always in the way of everything you're trying to do. Dude, it's so out of the way. Check this out. Are you ready for this? Oh my God.
See, I have to use 3 different. Wow. Comes with a bunch of different heads.
So yeah, so it goes all the way to it goes all the way to a split ring.
Holy cow,
that needs that.
Cool, dude.
To like a number 1, dude. Fantastic. They're not cheap, but oh my God. And it's not like this little tiny piece of crap that you can't hold on to. I got big meat hooks for hands.
Yeah.
And it opens by itself.
Opens. Oh, it's spring loaded.
Dude. And they got different, obviously for the different sizes, they have the different backer size too. But you can mix and match it. Oh my God, dude. I'm geeking out.
No, that's really cool. I use split ring pliers on the daily so much.
What kind do you use? The Texas? Do you use the Texas ones? Texas tackle?
I use junk right now.
No. This is what I've been using. I've been using these.
Okay.
Is what I've been using. These are Cast King. Yeah. And honestly, I'm pretty quick with them. They do a pretty damn good job. But I've found that a shape that's like this rather than like this is it spreads it open faster and easier and quicker, and I end up having a little more control over. But I just got them. I got them from the UK. They just came today.
Are my nemesis. I got to be honest with you.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, they're so bad.
I don't mean putting them on. Like finding a damn split ring that if you overextend it just a little bit doesn't blow it out. Man,
that's my problem.
There's a few, but it's not just where you get them from, it's what they're made of.
Yeah, right.
So if you want to get
zinc is one of the better materials for not blowing out, but it's not stainless steel.
Correct. Stainless steel is, unfortunately, stainless is soft.
It is, yeah.
And you can change the memory on stainless real quick. Yep. Yeah. So currently we're using a nickel.
Okay.
And I think that it's a weird balance. So what I want to use is stainless.
That's what I would want to use too.
You have to have a tool that is quick and efficient, that isn't gonna just blow that ring out.
Right.
And I think I might have found it.
Yeah. What I like about that is it's not that wedge. That wedge is what blows it out.
Yes.
The hook.
Well, that's what blows it out.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, like that kind of shape right there.
Yep.
Where it's crap, I can't remember the name of that triangle. Equal on all sides, equilateral triangle. So yeah, those tend to blow them out.
Yeah, if you push too hard.
Yep.
But that other one that you were showing, that new one, man, that's a way thinner.
Yeah, the angle is much sharper,
which would not. Yeah, it would help you not blow it out.
And it also, dude, it like I don't even like. I just kind of relax my hand and it splits it.
Oh wow! Ooh.
You know what I mean? So like, it's not like because I know a lot of times you're like click and it'll click open the split ring, but but no, dude, I'm super excited about these. I had to bring them out and talk to you about them because I know you probably do a lot of split ringing.
Yeah. In general, though, I love geeking out about this stuff. I don't know what that says, but
dude, and also I did want to say, I don't want to say too much because Christmas is a thing and people like surprises, so I want to keep my mouth shut about stuff. But I will say that your skirt colors are amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I was super impressed, man. Super impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got an eye, man. You got an eye.
We found you 6 months ago,
maybe.
And I was like, it was always just like, it's not what, it's just a matter when. And then, the freaking stars aligned, and dude, they really aligned because
you guys make it easy too, because in order to produce that right now by myself, you gave me plenty of time. We worked together good. It's been awesome.
Oh yeah, dude, very, very, very awesome. I hope you've seen some. I hope you've seen some of the blowback from working with us. I hope you're getting a little more activity and stuff like that as people start to use it. Sometimes it takes some time, because especially now that we're getting into the later months, people kind of back off of fishing a little bit. But once people get out there and start using this stuff and figuring out how freaking fantastic it is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, thanks to us, the aggressively average anglers, and Bobby Roast Beef and Jigs and Bigs, the secret's out about that business card, man. I blew it out, and I don't want to go too far with that here on YouTube, but if you know, you know.
Just a stain you can't wipe off, huh?
Yeah, I think you missed your calling, man. Like, did you do graphic arts or anything like that in your no? You just had a badass idea, huh? Just a creative fella.
Yeah, it just kind of came out of my mouth one day, the whole concept, and then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when the stars align, like you say, it just becomes like oh, if we do this, then we could do this, then we
Yeah.
could do this, and it just keeps happening. You're like, I'm doing it. Let's do this.
That right there is why Josh and I brought a CFO on board with Dark Horse Tackle, because that's what every conversation like with us starts and sounds like, and we needed like a firewall to prevent us.
Yeah. We need someone to tell us no.
Right? I'm not there yet, but I know when that day will come.
So are you just at BASSDOPE on all socials?
BASSDOPE or BASSDOPE Lures.
BASSDOPE or BASSDOPE Lures on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Facebook, I believe, is BASSDOPE. Instagram is BASSDOPE_Lures.
Okay.
YouTube, I really don't do much on YouTube.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But on Instagram, what we'll do, I try to do all my work, which is a lot of stuff, so that I can get out and fish pretty much every day. I didn't get out today, unfortunately, but I try to get out every day, take out some BASSDOPE lures and catch fish on them and post them on Instagram and Facebook. I try to do that every day just to show people, like, look, guys, I mean, how many fish do you want me to catch on these things? They work.
So
right. That's where we're at too.
Is BASSDOPE is that your main gig?
No,
Okay.
not yet. Hopefully, but
Yeah.
I own a telecommunications company, have for a lot of years.
Oh, cool.
And I even don't tell anyone. I work a couple days here and there at Bass Pro.
Oh, how about that?
I did that for fun, and it's actually it's a great company. It really is. But you know how people are when you work at a big box place for a while. Some people get
guilty,
negative towards management or whatever. But when I'm there, dude, I feel like it's undercover boss. Like I just have a blast.
How does it feel to be there and be one of the few that know what you're talking about?
Yeah. So at the Bass Pro that I work at, there's a lot of good fishermen in the fishing department, which makes it even more fun. Yeah.
Nice.
There's a few kids that are like, just stopped using spin cast like 2 weeks ago, but for the most part, there's a lot of good fishermen in that department, and we fish with each other a lot, and we share knowledge, and there's a thirst for it.
This is like the second or third time that I've heard somebody say something similar to what you just said, and I'm just now wondering if like Western PA has the absolute worst tackle shops in the country, because very few of ours are inhabited by knowledgeable creatures. Very, very few.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I'll bet you there's customers that come in there and say the same thing about me. Because we provide stuff for catfish, the carps, all these different fish species that people want. Like we got a lot of people from Europe that come in, and catching carp is huge for them.
Yes.
Yeah,
and they
it
ask
is.
me about where the carp bait is, and I'm like, carp bait? Use corn, dude.
Yeah.
And
you're in the wrong section.
Have you seen these XPS jerkbaits?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure there's a fair number of people that think I'm a complete moron, because I don't know. Hey, dude, we got people come in there on the daily that ask for our saltwater stuff.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, we're so far away from saltwater. What makes you think we don't have a big selection? Why?
Lake Michigan's just right there, man.
There's no salt in it.
It's called Bass Pro. It's
right?
Not called Tuna Pro.
Right.
Yeah. That's 1,200 miles to the east, pal.
Yeah. Although I bet you they'd make a crap ton of money if they did sell salt. I hear there's a lot more money in salt than there is fresh.
Oh yeah, well, all the Bass
spent.
Pros that are down by the saltwater do pretty well.
All right. Well, Scott, hey man, thank you so much for hopping on, dude. It's been a pleasure working with you, and you've got a catalog. We're gonna work our way through it, buddy.
Yes, we are.
All right, I'm waiting.
Yes, we are.
Ooh.
Yes, we are. I like that head design.
Hell yeah, man.
Is that a vertical eye, real quick?
It is, yeah.
Okay, cool. Even better. It's a wedge. It's getting sold.
All right, we're gonna let you go, man.
Right,
have a great night. Have a happy holidays, and we will be talking to you soon, bub.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, man. I'll see you.
Thank you, Scott. Have a good one. We'll see you.
Right.
And that was
Dude,
Scott.
that was cool. Yeah, man. Dude, that was so for all of you out there, some of you may know, some of you may not, but there used to be a podcast called the Knee Deep Podcast.
Yes.
And my favorite episodes were always the ones where you guys got into it with the bait makers.
Yeah.
Just to know, oh, hey, Jesse French has showed up here on Facebook. He said we can start now. Yep. What's going on, Jesse?
But yeah, I mean, as a guy who fishes and tries to explore the outside of the book ways of fishing, talking to guys who have gone completely outside of the box and just started their own deal is a big deal. And, Eli made a comment earlier saying, like, sometimes it feels like we work with guys who know more about the bait than they do fishing, or vice versa. And that's fine. But it is unfortunate sometimes when you do talk to somebody who knows more about the bait than they do fishing, because you can't really talk about how to utilize the bait, all the different ways of utilizing the bait. And they're just like, yep, it's a swim jig. I throw it and I reel it in.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn. Really wanted to dive into that.
For myself personally, and Scott gave us this tonight, what I really like to hear is, I don't necessarily always want to hear this is what you do. I want to hear this is what you can do.
Right.
So, like, here are a bunch of things that this bait does. That gives me the, that gives me the space to adapt it to what I do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And in that adaptation, what you do always it's constantly moving and changing, which, let's face it, that's why we all still fish, is because it's not like this. It's not this statue that you just look at.
No, it's not a monolith you worship.
Monolith. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
Josh, you got me, buddy.
Yeah.
You got me.
Got some words in here.
So, however many we had left, which was definitely less than 20. There's one fewer now because one went while we were on live tonight.
And you've got 3. Actually, you have less than 2 business days.
Guys, I mean, order this until they're gone. But after Friday, we cannot guarantee it'll show up by Christmas if that's something you're worried about.
Yep.
Okay. And when these are gone, they are gone. If you order after they are gone, and we are going to just make sure you keep an eye on the description of the Dark Horse tackle box, because as soon as they are gone, we will actually put it in the description. Hey, no more Christmas boxes left. Your next box is going to be the January box.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is going to be freaking nuts.
It is.
I mean, I've got bags and bags of these. What are these for?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Can't worry about it.
You got anything else, Josh?
I got nothing.
We had a very active comment thing going on here on YouTube, which I really appreciate. Dave, we had 2 Daves. We had a Scott, and we had Pete. We had Binya. I was on Binya's podcast the other day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was fun.
shooting
It was
it a
fun.
little.
And also shout out to the Catch podcast.
Yep.
If you guys haven't checked them out, go check them out. Josh and I were just on there. It is this week's episode. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Very long.
Oh, we just had an order for 12 items.
Nice.
Some lucky SOB. But also shout out to Jigs and Bigs, our other podcast partner. And definitely go check out Bobby Roast Beef and Joe Brown, American Vet Fishing. Couple of good guys, nice long form. It's actually exactly the opposite of the Catch podcast, right? Because Brad can't end that podcast soon enough.
Right.
He's always itching to end it, so it's never more than an hour if Brad has anything to do with it. But then on the other hand, you got Jigs and Bigs, which if you're in for that kind of thing, it can be 3.5 hours long, which is kind of nice for long drives and stuff like that. And Bobby's got a sexy voice. But no, definitely check out our partners. Always check out all of the small businesses that we work with here at Dark Horse Tackle.
Yep.
And of course, if I didn't need to say it, I will. Check out darkhorsetackle.com. Guys, we got a full online bait shop.
If you don't mind, all this stuff behind me is for sale.
And a lot more that you can't
most
see.
most unique jig and hard bait section you'll find this side of either Mississippi. I promise.
Josh, we good?
Oh, we're great.
All right. Folks, we will see you again. We're just not sure which day. We'll try to give you a heads up. Probably going to be the 23rd. So please come back, join us. I'll wear the hat one more time because I'm kind of getting fond of it.
In the season.
All right. Good night, everybody.
See ya.